I just saw your shirt. That's a really good shirt. Here to save lives. Mouth, eggplant, which is dick. And then that means spit or swallow or use a lot of spit. A lot of spit or spit it out?
No,
use a lot of spit. It's good. And that's your dude?
No.
Okay. Just gonna try to get you to co-sign on it.
I used to give classes.
You used to give classes on sucking dick?
And so
Wow.
that was my student gave me the shirt that I had to wear to.
Oh, wow. How many dicks do you have to suck before you realize I'm really good at this? That's conceited as shit. You know what? I'm gonna teach a class. And you had to call me your girlfriend. You should. You the best. Like, how many dicks do you have to suck to teach it? That is wild, though, when you get a girl that's just spitting and slobber on it. Because you're just in the bed like, you are nasty as fuck. You would never say that. You just gotta, oh my God. Oh, that's some wild shit, boy. And do you, as a blowjob expert, is eye contact important? You wanna look at the motherfucker? Because I don't like it when they look at me. Like, stop. 'Cause I don't know how to respond. I don't know what to do. Because my dick is in your mouth. And you're just... That's a lot of pressure. I don't know if I want to act like her. I don't like looking. Maybe looking at me, I just... Balls is very important. Yeah, balls is very important. I'm glad you co-signed on that. Never neglect the balls. Because that makes you feel like a fucking man. When a girl's just sucking on your balls. That's what you want to do. You be thinking, what did I do to deserve this? You be replaying your whole night, like, what did I say? What? I gotta remember what I said to this girl. Does semen hold nutritional value? I'll be hearing that. I'll be on TikTok and they'll be like, there's protein and shit in it. Huh? Supposed to? There's no studies? Did you say it's 10 points on Weight Watchers? What the? That's the best response ever. No, it's on 10 points on Weight Watchers. So, it's strawberry milkshake or none. It's up to you. You can eat some Greek yogurt, 3 blueberries, or just take a load in the mouth. It's up to you. So half a scoop of Greek yogurt, 2 blueberries, a little nut. It's good. It's only about 125 calories right there. And I'm like, is it really? Is that on the chart? Okay, what do I want to eat today? There's a girl looking at it. Okay, this time I'm gonna have some sweet potatoes, some ground beef, a little honey in it, a little avocado. I'm still way under. You dude just sitting there, how far under? I mean, you over 10? You over 10? Okay. How much is a class like that cost? I'm curious. I've never heard of that.
It used to cost $75
Per person for a class?
Yeah.
And you guarantee they're better after one class?
Well,
And how long is the class?
classes are about an hour.
And then what are you using? Like a cucumber?
I mean, I used to work in a retail store, so I used to have access.
Toys? Yeah. It'd be better if you just had real dicks. I mean, $75, the dudes would line up. We got big dicks, small dicks, girthy dicks, veiny dicks, circumcised, uncircumcised, low balls, high balls, one ball. We got the hook thing. Any girls want to suck a hook? You want to suck a hook? I'm going to hook to the right, hook to the left. We got the inverted. It can't be hard. Dudes would be lining up. Boy.
We always got volunteers.
Huh?
We always got volunteers.
Yeah, I bet, motherfucker. Horny motherfuckers out there. Dog, you go down to the fucking sex class. What is it? You just stand there, bro. You ain't gotta say hi. You ain't gotta get to know. You stand there and they fucking start sucking. Go, yeah. Yeah, dudes looking at his boys. Dude, this was crazy. I gotta get me a membership. This is way better than Orange Theory. Why did you quit? What makes you stop? Like a limit? Like, all right, I'm at 10,000 dicks. I can't go any farther. What made you stop?
I moved out of Fort Lauderdale.
It was in Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. I thought it was in here in Charlotte. It's down in Fort Lauderdale. That makes 100% sense now. Wild motherfuckers down in Florida, boy. So, well, sorry. Does this bring back memories?
What's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen. Get some.
Floyd Mayweather, thanks for coming out to the show. I just want to say, I want to see Roger Mayweather have a conversation with Shaq. Nobody can pick that shit up. They'd be like, him and him now. So anyway, him and him now. Him and him. Yeah, some of him and supersonic. All right then. So what the fuck?
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. You can listen to this on iTunes. Just search Gary Owen, #Get Some. Search United We Cast. Or you can watch and listen on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Gary Owen.com to listen. Just a little bit of disclosure. Right before we went to go record this episode, man, I had to take a shit. You ever be at that weird moment where I was 5 minutes from starting? Because the engineer that works on the podcast with me, we was like, dude, let's do noon. Okay, we're going to record this at noon. And I looked at my watch, it's 11:55. And in my brain, I'm like, okay, I probably could hold it, or maybe I can hold it. But I didn't want to be late. So it felt like it was going to be kind of an epic drop. And so literally we're starting like 3 minutes late because I was just like, there's nothing worse than being in a situation where you gotta go, but you don't really gotta go, but you're weighing the pros and cons. Like, we're probably going to spend an hour on the podcast. So I literally had to be like, drop one before the podcast. So I just want everybody to know what a good frame of mind I'm in right now. Like, I am relaxed. I feel like spring is here. When you drop a good one, Everything seems better in the world when you're done, man. I just can't even explain how good I feel right now. It's my day so far. I woke up this morning, and when I'm in town, when I'm in Cincinnati, when I'm home, I get up around 8:30 and I leave about 8:50, and I got about a 30-minute drive, and I go to this place called Title Boxing. They're popping up all over the country, Title Boxing clubs. But they got a session from 9:30 to 10:30. So I'll do that, and then I'll come home afterwards and get a shower, and that's really when I start my day. It starts about 11:30, 12. But I had a podcast. I went to Title. I did that. I drank a lot of water. I ate some breakfast after boxing, and I don't know why it just hit me like bloop, 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 bloop. And I was like, I got to drop this before we go to air. And I feel amazing. My body, like, I think it plays tricks on me because I always have to use the restroom when I'm in a movie theater. Like, in the middle of the movie, I'll have to go. Just gotta piss. But I always gotta go, and I don't know why. I could watch a movie at my house, and I never gotta get up. I could watch a movie in my hotel room and rent a movie off the TV, never gotta use the bathroom. Movie theater, every time. And sometimes my wife will give me a side eye because I'll take my phone with me. Why you taking your phone? And I always tell her, I go, because I don't know how long I'm going to be. The plan is to take a piss, but I don't know what's going to happen once I enter that male bathroom in a movie theater. So I might need something to entertain myself. Candy Crush, while I'm crushing the toilet. I always got to use the bathroom there, and I always make sure, even if I don't have to go, before I get on a flight, I don't care if it's an hour flight. I don't care if it's a 5-hour flight. I always go to the restroom when I get to the airport before I board the plane. And there ain't nothing worse watching a guy take a piss and just walk out, not even wash his hands. There's nothing. You know how you go to the post office and there's most wanted? There should be airport signs and pictures like, don't shake this dude's hand. Because they're basically spreading germs. He didn't piss. And then it kind of embarrasses the guy, and then he starts washing, and then they can take his picture down. But they should have like screenshots, like a little, you know how they got the TV screens at the airport with the departing and arriving flights? Just have a rotating screenshot of guys and girls that don't wash their hands after they use the restroom. I bet you I'll give them to wash their hands. You ain't got to put the names up. Just show them walking out of the bathroom without using that sink. That's what kills me. That shit is, as a dude, if you don't wash your hands after it's on your dick and probably some piss came out of it, which could have backsplashed on you, when do you wash your hands? Howie Mandel is a comedian, and people used to make fun of him all the time because he's a germaphobe. And everyone that knows Howie Mandel, he doesn't shake hands. He doesn't. He'll give you a fist pump, but he will not shake your hand. And every time I've met him, it's been a fist pump. He's never shaken my hand. And I didn't get it, but I find myself doing that more often than not because I just don't know. I be like fist bumping the hell out of people at airports now. Yeah, what's up? I go right with the fist so they know. And I think for dudes, it builds camaraderie. Because if I see a celeb or somebody that I admire and then they come with the fist bump, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a cool thing we did together. I think it's better than a handshake. Just myself. All right. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, April 27th to 29th at the Helium Comedy Club. Then I get into May, and I'm in Omaha the first weekend of May, and Bridgeport, Connecticut, May 10th to the 12th. Then Philadelphia, May 18th to the 20th. And something cool happened too in Philadelphia. Robert Kraft went and visited Meek Mill in prison. And I just thought that's like two of the most opposite ends of the spectrum. But then when I really thought about it, I went, not really, because the Patriots have had so many Super Bowl victories. And after that, you hire entertainers to perform for the team when you win the Super Bowl. Right afterwards, wherever the team hotel is, they'll hire like Rick Ross, or they might hire Meek Mill. So it kind of made sense that Robert Kraft, being a over 70-year-old white dude, would be more in touch with the hip hop community than most other rich white guys, because he's had to hire numerous hip hop artists for the Patriots because they keep winning. Now, Mike Brown for the Bengals, he probably don't know who Meek Mill is because they ain't had no celebrations. And that's my squad. But he's never had to hire anybody. for a celebration for the Bengals. April's always a good month because the NFL schedule comes out. So NFL fans, this is the month. The draft is this month. Outside of the Super Bowl and the season, this is the biggest month for football, man. The draft and the schedule comes out. And as soon as the schedule comes out, I always call my agent and we try to work my schedule around the Bengals schedule. But I always got to temper it because I don't want to miss out on money or move some stuff around. Then Bengals end up sucking. And here I am, worked my schedule around so I could be in Cleveland in November and the Bengals suck. So speaking of Cleveland, I'm anxious to see who they're going to pick in the draft. I've heard it's gone from Darnold to Josh. I think it's down to Darnold and Josh Allen. We definitely know it's going to be one of them two. I think Josh Rosen and Baker Mayfield have fallen back to the second two quarterbacks. I think everybody knows the first two is going to be Josh Allen and Sam Darnold. Then the second two is going to be Rosen and Mayfield. Now, we don't know the order. That's what's going to make it interesting. And then right in the middle of all those quarterbacks, they're going to throw in Saquon Barkley. And so the draft is going to be interesting. And there still might be some moves. Everybody's moving up and down and everything else. So I'm curious how this is going to play out. The one quarterback that I think is doing everything wrong is Lamar Jackson. And I'm rooting for him. And I had an outside shot that the Bengals would get him in the second round, but not hiring an agent and having your mom negotiate, and then he's hard to reach and he didn't want to run the 40. I just think who's ever in his ear, and I understand you want to save money and things of that nature, but I don't know who's giving him his advice, but it's not great advice. And sometimes you wonder, but the thing, right, Lamar Jackson, he definitely needs an agent to have relationships with certain teams and posture and scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type deal. Where I remember years ago, Andre Johnson from the Houston Texans, he was the third pick in the draft. And I think it was Carson Palmer, and then it was Charles Rogers. It was Carson Palmer, Charles Rogers, and then Andre was third. And I don't know who was fourth, but I was talking to his uncle, and his uncle said Drew Rosenhaus was after Andre hard. He's a Miami guy. Andre played at Miami. He was like, yo. And Uncle was like, no, they got a lawyer. And they said, look, we're not going to hire all these people to represent Andre because we know where he's going. He's going third to Houston. Everybody knew it. He said, so all he's going to do is wait for the number 2 pick to sign and the number 4 pick to sign. And then we know we're going to get less than 2 and more than 4. That's what they went in. They let the 2 guys sign around them. And then Andre came in with, okay, this is what we're going to get. It reminded me of Mike and Molly. I don't know if you guys know that TV show, Mike and Molly. But when that show came about, Melissa McCarthy is the wife on that show. But the star was Billy Gardell. Billy Gardell was the star, but Melissa McCarthy got casted as his wife. So when Mike and Molly gets started, Bridesmaid comes out. Also, Melissa McCarthy is that girl. She's the lead girl. And after a couple seasons, when you do a live studio audience for TV shows, they always announce the cast before you start filming. And the live studio audience always claps, and always the star comes last. The star gets introduced last. So if you was ever at a taping at Martin, they would have Tommy and Cole and Gina, and then Martin would always be last. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Will Smith was always brought out last in front of the live studio audience. It'd be Uncle Phil and Carlton and everybody else. But Mike Amanda is like, yo, Melissa's like the shit now. She's the biggest name on the show. So Melissa went in to renegotiate her contract and was like, hold on. I just want to be very, very clear. This is a story I heard from a reliable source, but I don't want to be like, it's factual. And then people comment like, Gary, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But it came from a reliable source. Melissa went in to renegotiate her deal. And then Billy went in, and instead of like negotiating, this is all he said. He said, yo, whatever you gave her, I'll just take the same. And he walked out. And that was the negotiating. But part of it was Melissa started getting introduced last on the show. That was part of the deal because she was becoming the bigger star. So Billy didn't care. He's like, look, let's all renegotiate. The show's a hit show. Michael Molly's a hit show. Whatever you gave her, I'll just take the same. And he walked out. I go, beautiful. That made sense. I was like, that was a great negotiating tactic. But I want to know, the rumor is that just coming out is the Patriots are interested in taking Lamar Jackson. So we'll see if that happens, because there's this rumor that there's this ongoing feud between Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and Robert Kraft, that Belichick wanted to keep Garoppolo, and Kraft was like, we're not getting rid of Brady. We're not, no matter what the circumstances. When Brady stays ready to lead, that's when we're letting him go. But we're not getting rid of him. And I think Belichick was like, damn, I got the quarterback that can keep the Patriots relevant in the playoff hunt for the next 10 to 15 years in Garoppolo. Brady, we don't know how long he's got, but I'm guarantee it's under 5. And I'm being generous, lucky to get 1 or 2 more years out of him. But now that Garoppolo's gone, and I also think Belichick wanted to be like, I can do this without Tom. As much as he loves Tom and probably they did a lot of great things together, he's probably like, I want to prove that I can win a Super Bowl and I can take a team without Tom Brady and make them win. And but to me, he's done that. He did that with Matt Castle when Brady tore his ACL, because the Patriots went 11-5 that year. But I think he thinks he's got the right players in place that he could make a deep playoff run and possibly Super Bowl without Tom. I tend to lean with Robert Kraft and obviously Brady, because I'm like, when you got a guy that's done so much for your franchise, you got to let him ride off. This isn't a guy that was pretty good. You're talking about the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, ever. You know, I saw Joe Montana. I thought nobody was better than Joe Montana until I see Tom Brady. I mean, Brady just does more with the least. So, NBA playoffs, Minnesota Timberwolves into playoffs for the first time in 14 years. I didn't know it'd been that long since Minnesota's been to the playoffs. That's crazy. 14 years? So 2004? That doesn't seem right to me, because Garnett was there. And Garnett left in after the 2007 season to go to Boston, because he won the title 2006. So they didn't make the playoffs for 2 years, 3 years with Garnett. And I just read that. So, I mean, it has to be true. They said it's the first time in 14 years Minnesota made a playoff. That's crazy. Minnesota didn't make the playoffs with Garnett the last couple of years, because they had a squad at one point when they had Malik Sealy and Zerbiak had come into the league, and Garnett. Here's a great story about Kevin Garnett. When this had to be like 98, 97, 98, 99, somewhere around there. So Garnett's young. He's with the Timberwolves. My wife, who wasn't my wife at the time, and my oldest son, Emilio, he's my stepson, but he's my son. Emilio had to be 8 or 9, probably younger. So it had to be 98, 97. So he had to be 7 or 8. And they were on a flight from Minnesota to LA, or vice versa. It was LA to Minnesota. And my wife said Garnett came back to their row. My wife and my son was in coach, and Garnett brought my son up to first to play video games with him on the flight. So you got to realize Garnett was young. He came in like in 95, 18, 19. So he was probably 21, 22. And he sees an 8-year-old kid that plays video games, I'm sure. So he brought him up, and my son sat in first class with Garnett the whole flight, because I guess Garnett had bought both seats. They wanted nobody sit next to him. I mean, he is 7 foot. And first class is first class, but 7 foot, 7 foot. I don't care how big first class is, 7 foot, 7 foot. And I just thought that was a cool story. And then I go to Minnesota like in 2001, and I don't run into Garnett. I run into a bunch of his boys out after my show one night. And I told him the story, and his boys like, that sounds like Kevin. That sounds like him. I was like, so that was just the coolest story, that he went back and got my son to play video games with him the whole flight from LA to Minnesota, or Minnesota to LA. I can't remember which one it was. And a similar thing happened. My son Emilio, my oldest son, who's 27 out, when he was like 10 or 11, he would go visit his dad, his real dad, up in Oakland. And then we were living in LA at the time, so he'd fly in and out of Burbank on Southwest. And I remember I picked him up one time. I was at the airport, Even though 9/11 had happened, if you are waiting on a unaccompanied minor, they let you through security. So I'm waiting right at the gate, and he gets off the plane, and this big white dude gets off with him. And I guess I found out the white dude played for the Raiders. I don't know what his name was, but the same thing happened. They were sitting next to each other in Southwest, and they start playing some kind of video game. But I think this was one of the handheld games. It wasn't like on a laptop or anything. And I go, both my boys, Emilio and then my 17-year-old son, Austin. Emilio kind of went away from gaming, but Austin, that dude's a gamer. Jeez, every time he's around anybody, man, that dude, he might start his own program one day, like gaming program. That dude's more about computers than anybody I've ever met, is my 17-year-old son. But the Jazz have been playing out of their mind lately. And I think there's this little beef going between Ben Simmons and Donovan Mitchell of who should be Rookie of the Year. Is Ben Simmons really Rookie of the Year? I say no. I say once you get drafted, whether you get hurt or not, that's your Rookie year. You declare for the NBA draft. You are a rookie. So you're in year 2. Because here's the difference. Donovan Mitchell was at Louisville last year. He had to go through, the workouts, get drafted, didn't know where he was going. So you're kind of like in flux for like 4 or 5 months. Ben Simmons got drafted by the Sixers, got NBA coaching, got NBA practicing in, got to use NBA facilities, was in one place, had a home. And I like both of them. This is not a knock on Ben Simmons at all. I like him. But if you go ask me Rookie of the Year, I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. Once you're drafted by a team, that's it. There's a difference between when David Robinson came out and he had to sit out 2 years out of the Naval Academy to fulfill his commitment to the military. He didn't have NBA coaching and an NBA facility work out or anything like that. Ben Simmons, he's been with Philly for a year and a half now. To me, Ben Simmons isn't a rookie. He's in year 2. Donovan Mitchell is a rookie. So if I was voting, I would vote Donovan Mitchell. And he might win it regardless, even though people technically say Ben Simmons rookie. The way he's carried Utah, that's another thing. Gordon Hayward leaves Utah, goes to Boston, and Utah's better. Utah did make it the second round last year with Gordon Hayward. So we don't know yet. But you never can tell. Nobody knew Donovan Mitchell was going to be like that. That's the crazy part about college to pro. I mean, look at Michael Jordan. It's clear that Dean Smith held his game back for the team in North Carolina. Now, it paid off. They won a national title. But sometimes you just can't tell, is it the team or the coaching holding the player back from flourishing? And then it goes vice versa. Sometimes a great college player just can't translate to the pros. I've asked numerous people in football and basketball, when somebody that ends up being a great pro athlete, did they know it in high school? Like, I got an uncle who was a high school coach in Cincinnati, and he coached Luke Kuechly from the I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. Kuechly from Carolina, the linebacker. And I asked him, I said, did you know? Did you know Luke was going to be a great NFL player in high school? He goes, when you're in high school, you never know about the NFL. It's too far off. You just know if they're a Division I college football player. You can usually tell that right off the bat. You can never tell if somebody is going to be an NFL player out of high school. They said, but we knew Luke was definitely going to be a productive Division I player. He said he also said they would come in the morning and Luke would already be there. So if school started at 7, Luke would be at the high school at like 5:30 in the morning watching film already. And he's like that way in the pros. I said, dang, my son would have got to school at 8. He would have just been like, I'm going off natural ability here. Now, a funny story about my stand-up. I was in Columbia, South Carolina. It's my Sunday night show. And this dude passes out in the front row. And I put it on my Instagram and my YouTube page. If you go to my YouTube page, that's the better one because you see the whole video. But this dude was in the front row and he was a huge fan. And it's weird because he caught my eye on Instagram earlier that day because he said, Gary Owen coming to Columbia, I'm going solo. It almost sounded like he didn't even tell his friends. Like he just found out and got in a car and was driving over to the comedy club. And I was on stage and he's sitting in the front he was such a huge fan. Like he stood up when I walked on stage. He knew a lot of my jokes, like old jokes, not current jokes, old jokes. And then I always try to end my show with, when I got one show, I end with a Q&A. I'll say, you guys got any questions? And it often leads to like some fun banter between me and the audience. But I go, you guys got any questions? And this guy had been loud the whole show. Respectfully loud, not interrupting the show, but, you know, he would just yell random shit out. Like he was like, talk about Michael Blackson. Talk about Tekashi 6ix9ine. I go, I'm going to get to it, man. I can't rush into all my jokes. But he just knew everything. And I've had 7-hour specials. I think he knew all of them. He was like clapping real loud. And then he just passes out. Because I said, you got any questions? And somebody said, wake his ass up. And I go, wake who up? And I looked over. His head was completely back, mouth open, arms crossed. He ain't moving. So I was filming him. And then I had somebody literally went over and checked his pulse. And they gave me the thumbs up, like, he's okay. And so after we filmed him, I put him on Instagram and everything. Then if I woke him up, the dude woke up, didn't know where he was, and just woke up clapping. Dude, did he wake up clapping? So long story short, I made sure the club made sure he got an Uber home. And I gave him all my merch. Like I sell t-shirts and DVDs and stuff after my show. I gave it all to him. I was like, dude, just went hard by himself. I'll tell you one thing I've been dealing with this week. Not dealing with, but me and Michael Blackson was having fun with each other, doing that. We were bagging on each other. And it was, you know, we were all having fun with it. And people know me and Mike know we're not serious. So Mike challenged me to say the N-word. He said, I bet you won't say it. And he called me the N-word about 30 times. And he called me a colonizer. Said I smell like a white people smell like wet dogs. He basically did every white stereotype joke. Your wife's with you because of your credit score. Small dicks. We got small dicks. So when he challenged me to say the N-word, I had my dog. I smell my dog. I said, Mike, I heard you said I smell like a wet dog. I go, my dog's wet. She smells amazing. and then I had the dog kiss me. I go, white guy shit right there. And then I said, you challenged me to say the N-word. I said, of course I'm not going to say it, but my wife will say it for me. And my wife was saying it for me. He was like, Michael Blackson, you punk ass N-word. And I'd be like, ho, you punk ass N-word bitch. Right? So I never said it. My wife said it. Now keep in mind, that joke is from my special True Story, which came out in 2012. So it's 6 years old, that joke. I haven't done it since then, but I did it as a sketch this time. Man, you got all these angry black people that start coming at me and my wife, call my wife a bed wench, a hoe, I'm an undercover racist. I was waiting for Gary Owen to fuck up. What they don't realize, and my wife was like, that's why I didn't want to do it. I go, Kenya, I had to tell my wife, listen, everyone that's mad about that joke are just mad. And they're black people that are mad at anything not black or anything that they deem disrespectful to black people. But they don't realize they're the real racist ones. They are. Now, I had people send me comments like, Gary, I still fucks with you, but I didn't like that bit. I respect that. That's fine. But, but comedy is to make the uncomfortable comfortable. So what kills me is Michael called me every name in the book and I laughed about it. It was funny. I do this one thing, but you ain't mad at Mike, but you mad at me. No, the problem is you're the racist one. There's white racists and there's black racists. And then people got on Erykah Badu because she said, I love you, Gary. Like she backed me. And they're like, here she goes again. I go, so you just hate everybody that has a different opinion than you. But if you look at, I would go to people's pages, I'd be bored, and I'd go to people's pages that were like talking crazy to me and stuff. And they're mad at everything. And they act like they're pro-black, but what they really are, they're anti everything other than black. And they're anti against black people that don't agree with them. That's the crazy part. You mad at black people that have a difference of opinion than you. If somebody disagrees with you on you still out Uncle Tom, bed wenching, whatever. I'm like this. Oh, okay, that's good open dialogue. That's good. I call them fake woke. I mean, how you mad at that? And that's what I told everybody. It was a sketch. That's the key word, sketch, comedy. It wasn't real. That's not how me and my wife really are. Come on, give us a break. But then, They were like, you're not invited to the barbecue or cookout. And I was like, I'm still coming to cookout. Wanna why? Because it's not real. It's a fake cookout, you dumbasses. And I'm bringing a potato salad, but I'm not going to bring it. Why? Because it's not really potato salad. Because there's no real cookout to bring it to. Idiots. But what kills me is you mad at that, me doing the sketch of my wife saying the N-word. But you ain't mad at Dave Chappelle for doing the KKK sketch? Like, what's worse? But you know why you wasn't mad? Because it wasn't Dave. It was a sketch. It was a comedy show. And that's the same thing me and my wife is doing. It's on Instagram. You know the beef isn't real. You know it. All we're doing on Instagram is making 60-second sketches when you do bits like that. That's all you're doing. You're not on TV, but you're on your phone and you're making sketches. So you're not mad at that. You're not mad at the Dave Chappelle and the KKK episode. And you're probably one of the best and most iconic Saturday Night Live moments was when Richard Pryor and Chevy Chase was hurling racial insults at each other. And then it kept getting progressively worse. And then Richard Pryor just goes, honky. That was like he threw the sword down, honky. And Chevy Chase goes, he says the M word. And then Richard Pryor goes, dead honky. It's like, it was just iconic, but it was so funny because it made the uncomfortable comfortable. And Chevy Chase said what a lot of white people probably want to say. And Richard Pryor gave the response that a lot of black people wanted to say. You know, Chevy Chase ain't racist. Richard Pryor ain't racist. It was a sketch on Saturday Night Live. Keyword, a sketch, comedy. And that's what kills me. People act like, I lost a lot of respect for Gary with his wife. And she should have stopped this bed wench. The bed wench got me. I had to look up what the bed wench was. I didn't even know what it was. But as soon as you go to cussing out and saying shit like that, I go, okay. And then most of the guys, they had like some Afrocentric name and they act like they're so pro-black and they know the real blackness. And I'm like, dude, you're so one-sided. You can't have a discussion. I'd be happy to talk about it with people, but it kills me with shit like that. It kills me with shit like that. I haven't done a crazy stepdad story this week. I'll give you an update on my brother. I haven't brought up my brother, the drug case. He goes back May 8th, my brother, and he'll get sentenced. He pleaded guilty to the drug charges he had. And, if you don't know, if you haven't listened to podcasts before, my brother got busted back in November with methamphetamines, heroin, fentanyl, and he had $5,000 tied around his neck that he said he got from construction. Okay. And the cop caught him in the middle of a drug deal. So he pled out, and they just got him on 3 felonies, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th degree felony off possession. They couldn't prove he was dealing. They just got possession. And he went to court April 3rd, and he pled guilty, and he gets sentenced May 8th. He could get a couple years probation, could get a couple years in jail. Just depends on how good the lawyer is and whatever. But there recently was a huge drug bust in Middletown, Ohio. And this dude had ties to the Mexican cartel. They said if anybody had drugs coming in and out of this area, they had to deal with them some kind of way. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I know my brother was singing like a bird. He was snitching to keep his ass out of jail. Ain't a doubt in my mind. But you know what? I'll get into that more after he gets sentenced on May 8th, and I'll have a better idea. But, you know, I'm ostracized from the family. I've never done drugs. I've never been arrested. I've never done anything to, quote unquote, embarrass myself or the family name, so to speak. And I'm not allowed around the family because I'll speak honestly about my upbringing and how my stepdad is. But then you got my brother. One brother's passed away. My other brother has been a drug dealer his whole life and user, but you'll stand by him. And not saying they shouldn't. That is your son. You got to stand by your son. But how do you ostracize one that's doing everything right and work it out in your brain that it's okay what the other one's doing? I don't understand that. I don't understand that as a parent. And just my mom. How do you like disown your son? I don't get that. I don't care what my kids do, my stepson or my real son. I'm going to have their back. And what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen. Get some podcast. You can listen to this on, just go to iTunes, search Gary Owen, hashtag get some. Also search United We Cast, or go to YouTube and search youtube.com/Gary Owen.com. We waited a couple days to do my podcast because we do this once a week. I wanted to wait till the NFL draft was over so I could give my my 2 cents on what I think everybody did. But before that, I want to start with my schedule because a lot of people always be asking me where you going to be. I'm in Bridgeport, Connecticut, May 10th to the 12th at this club called the Stress Factory. It's a brand new club. I'll be the second comic. They open up the first week of May. I come in the second week. And then I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Helium Comedy Club, May 18th to the 20th. And then I'm in Wichita, Kansas at the Wichita Theater. And then May 26th, I'm in Oklahoma City at the Tower Theater. May 25th, I'm in Wichita. May 26th, I'm in Oklahoma. So that's where I'm at the next month. Not a ton of big cities there. Philly, but yeah, Omaha, Bridgeport, Connecticut, Wichita, and Oklahoma. I'm going to eat a lot of steak in the next couple weeks, it looks like. Now, when my podcast is on, and when we post it on YouTube, and we don't have a ton of comments on YouTube. So a lot of times I read the comments. I'll be on a plane or be in my hotel room and I'll be bored. I'll read the comments when the podcast comes out. And somebody had mentioned, I never mentioned The Walking Dead, the season finale. And even though it was a couple weeks ago, I was like, they're right. I didn't mention it. But I think my favorite show on TV right now is The Walking Dead. And the Negan-Rick rivalry is interesting because if you watch The Walking Dead, the season finale, and I'm not giving away a spoiler alert because it's 2 weeks old. If you ain't watched it yet, you ain't a real fan. But Rick, I thought he killed Negan. He sliced his throat, and then Negan said, "Look what you did." And then Rick goes, "Save him." So he tells the guy to save Negan. And then he's basically going to use Negan as almost like a warning to other people. If you cross us, this is what's going to happen. He said he was just going to basically lock him in a cell and give him food, but he's just going to rot. Basically, almost like solitary confinement is what Rick said for the rest of his life. Because his son, Carl, who passed away early in the season, was like, we got to find a way to get along and stop killing people. We just kill people without even thinking about it. And I think the reason I like The Walking Dead so much is because, one, I'm somewhat of a introvert. I know it sounds crazy, me being a comedian and talking a lot, but I really like my alone time. And I don't like traveling with a lot of people. I like people watching, and I don't like a big entourage around me. So when I watch The Walking Dead, it reminds me of that. Like most of the people in that show, there's just a lot of times they link up with certain groups, but for the most part, they're kind of on their own until they link up with a certain group. And what I like about The Walking Dead is it shows you how stupid we are when it comes to political views and racial and culture differences, because people are ready to fight and argue and get each other's ass, about it. Where you watch The Walking Dead and you're like, okay, if shit really hit the fan, all that shit don't matter. Because you got Rick banging Michonne. Rick's a redneck white dude. Michonne's a black girl that looked like she was going to Erykah Badu concerts and had incense burning in her apartment and probably had a Malcolm X poster up. And now they're a couple just because when it comes to surviving, all that shit goes out the door. All that racial and religious and all that other bullshit. And I think that's why I like it. It's like, it almost is an insight into human nature and how, if you're a dick, you're a dick. That's all it is. If you're cool, you're cool. And that's what I like about The Walking Dead. But, I can't wait for the next season to start because that show just gets me. I may see this Negan-Rick rivalry is fun to watch. And I always said, Negan can't die because, he's the antagonist of the show. It's like if he dies, it's like you lose one of the most popular characters on the show. So when Rick sliced his throat in the season finale, I was like, oh, there's no way he's dying. And then when he said, save him. So we had the doctor come save him. It's funny how they conveniently found a doctor at the beginning of this season. That's weird how that happens. Like you're in the middle of a post-apocalyptic world, basically, and you just found a doctor. Man, what luck. Man, that was good timing. Just found a doctor at a gas station hiding out. Crazy. And one thing I'll be watching and Walking Dead is, when the hell is Maggie going to have that baby? This girl Maggie's been pregnant for 2 seasons. Like, this fucking baby is 6 years old right now. Had the baby already. Like, Glenn's been dead for so long. Glenn's been on 2 other TV shows since he got killed off The Walking Dead. She still ain't had this goddamn baby. And she's barely showing, by the way. I know there's not a hospital, but can we get a sonogram? Make sure that baby's okay? So, but let me just jump right in to the NFL schedule and the draft. I'll start with the schedule. As soon as the Bengals schedule comes out, I immediately call my agent the next day and we go over my schedule to see what games I can make. And I'm for sure going to make 3 games this year. I'm going to make the Atlanta game. Cincinnati's at Atlanta, the end of September. It just so happens my sister is getting married on that Saturday, and then they play the Falcons on the Sunday. And I called them. I said, where am I at that weekend? And they was like, your sister's getting married. I said, see, she was looking out for me because I'm a good friend of mine, Mohamed Sanu, wide receiver for the Falcons that used to play for the Bengals. And he's got a suite, and I haven't been to the new stadium yet to see a football game in Atlanta. So I already told him, I said, dude, that's the game I'm coming to. I think I'm going to wear a Sanu Bengals jersey. That way I'm kind of like, I'm in his suite. I'm rooting from a squad, but I'm still rooting from a boy. So that worked out. And then the Taft Theater in Cincinnati's been trying to get me a new date. I did it December 2nd last year and sold it out. So I told them, wait till the schedule comes out. So it looks like I'm going to do the Taft Theater the weekend of December 14th because the Bengals play the Raiders that weekend. I think it's the 15th or 14th or 15th. I think it's the 15th they play the Raiders. So I'm going to do the Taft on the 14th, the night before they play the Raiders. And then my wife's from Oakland. I'm from Cincy. Little hometown rivalry. But I think that's what I'm going to do the Taft so I can get that home game in. And then I'm definitely going to make that Thursday night game. They open with Indy at Indy. And then they're at home Thursday night. Week 2, Baltimore's at Cincy, Thursday night game. And that's the only primetime game Cincy got. And I'm not even mad about it because that's really all they deserve. After a 7-9 season, it's a small market. So everybody gets one primetime game. We got a Thursday night game. We get out of the way early. And then the guys can stay on a schedule. I actually like it that they don't have a lot of primetime games because the guys can get, used to everything. Only bad thing about the Bengals schedule is 3 of their first 4 games is on the road. So they're at Indy, then Baltimore comes to Cincy on Thursday, then they're at Carolina, then they're at Atlanta. But I always look at the schedule. We already knew who they're going to play. So I was like, it's so hard to dissect the schedule and be like, they should win that. They should lose that. They should win that. Who knows at this point? I'm looking at it. I think the Bengals are going to go 16-0. That's just me. I'm probably the only person that thinks that. I will work out every game in my brain. Like, they got that. Steelers, they got their number. Oh, yeah. We're going to step up that game. We're going to go to Kansas City, whoop that ass. Yeah, Falcons. Julio Jones is going to pull a hamstring. He ain't going to play that game. Oh, yeah, Tampa's the other one I'm going to make. I'm definitely making Tampa game because me and Will Packer, the producer that put me on Think Like a Man and Ride Along, he's from Tampa, I'm from Cincy. And ever since we've known each other for the last 8 years, we always make sure we go we meet each other for the Tampa Bengals game. And they only play each other once every 4 years. So this will be that year they're playing each other in Cincy. And speaking of Will, I was telling you guys I auditioned. I was waiting on word for that Taraji P. Henson movie, and I didn't get it. So I was like, dang. So now I'm looking like this. Who got it? But from what I'm hearing, it was Will and James Lopez, who was the head of Will's company, Will Packer Productions. They went to bat for me. The director had somebody else in mind, and that happens in this business. But I don't like the director anymore. So it's funny, man, because even when I don't get a part, I think they messed up. I'm like, they don't even know what I would have brought to the table. They have no idea. Call me cocky. I don't know, but I'd be looking like, dude, you don't even know what I was about to bring to that role. My episode of Hip Hop Squares aired. That was funny if you didn't see it. You should watch it. Like me and Erica Badu have a nice little banner during that. But okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's get back to the draft. I thought the Bengals, they had a good draft to fill their needs. They got a center, Billy Price, out of Ohio State. He was my second choice. I like the guy out of Arkansas the best, but somebody took him right before we did. Like whoever picked right for the Bengals picked the guy from Arkansas. And I was like, God dang it. But then they got Billy Price. And then when he came in, I was like, okay, he tore his pectoral muscle during the combine. So, but it's just a tore pectoral muscle. That's not like an ACL. You can come back from that. But overall, I thought they did all right. They got Sam Hubbard, a linebacker from Ohio State, who went to high school at Cincinnati Moeller, and then he went to Ohio State, and now he's going to play for the Bengals. So that's unheard of. Somebody going to high school in a city, basically staying local for college, and then getting drafted by the hometown team. And he said something interesting. He goes, Sam Hubbard said, I won a state title in football. I won a national title in college. He goes, only thing left is for me to win a Super Bowl in the NFL. I said, well, I hope you're right. I'm not trying to argue with that logic. So that, I don't know a lot about Malik Jefferson. He was a linebacker they picked from University of Texas. It's funny because as soon as the Bengals pick somebody, I immediately start Googling like all their highlights and what they're about and stuff. So I drink the Kool-Aid. I'm like, yeah, now that we got Billy Price, I'm like this. Yeah, he was the best. He actually was the best center. No, it's Lions got Frank Ragnall from Arkansas. I just liked him because he could play center or guard. Like Billy Price is a center. That's it. I just thought the Ragnall, you could move him around a little bit more, but it's hard to say right now. They got that kid from Wake Forest. I didn't know anything about him. What's his name? Jesse Bates III. They got him from Wake Forest. So he's a safety. Looks like a playmaker. So, we'll just wait and see. But it wasn't a sexy draft for the Bengals, but it was a good draft. I definitely think we have improved the offensive line. Joe Mixon's going to be better in year 2. William Jackson's I think he's going to be one of the top 5 cornerbacks in the NFL this year. He's the only guy I saw that halfway shut Antonio Brown down one-on-one on an island last year. So, and we'll see what John Ross is going to do. So I really think we basically got 2 first-round picks that are going to play this year. We got John Ross, because he didn't play last year, and then we got Billy Price. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited, but I'm excited every year when it comes around. Now, some things I didn't get about the draft, man. The Browns did it again. I've been going to bat for him like, dude, they got a new GM, Dorsey, and everything else. So you got here's what I don't understand. You have the number 1 and number 4 pick. You take Baker Mayfield 1, and then you take Denzel Ward 4th. The best players I think the 2 best players outside of quarterback was Saquon Barkley and Bradley Chubb. And I think everybody would agree with that. What I'm thinking is you could have taken Saquon Barkley first and probably still got Baker Mayfield 4th. Because I think the Jets was taking Sam Darnold regardless. That was the number 1 quarterback. And then, a lot of people's like Baker Mayfield, he could have been the 11th or 12th pick in the draft. But I was just like, I was like, dude, honestly, thank you, because I did not want to see Saquon Barkley in the AFC North, because I want to keep that guy in the NFC as far away from me as possible. And I was like, and then they took Denzel Ward where they could have got Bradley Chubb. And I'm like, you got Myles Garrett on one side, then you got Bradley Chubb on the other. That's a scary ass defensive front. Just those 2 alone. Because the Browns D wasn't bad last year. They were just on the field the whole game. But if they could get any kind of rest, they were going to be okay. I just don't, I'm trying to because outside of Cincy, I want to root for Cleveland a little bit, because I like the city and it's an Ohio team, but damn, guys, really? I was mind boggled. But hey, they filled their needs, I guess. But what are you going to do? But I do think the quarterbacks went to the right places. I think I think Josh Allen was a perfect pick for Buffalo just because they're cold weather and he's got the strongest arm and he's not, he's a small town guy from small town in California, went to Wyoming, and now he's basically going to a small town in the NFL in the middle of nowhere, Buffalo. It just fits everywhere he's played his whole life. And when you're in the cold like that, you need a quarterback with a cannon. Buffalo was never going to take Josh Rosen. He doesn't have a cannon like that. So I was like, for Josh Allen to go there and he can sit a year, because I really hope A.J. McCarron balls out. I hope he goes to Buffalo and balls out. So Josh should be sitting the first year anyways. And then he can learn, because I guess the knock on him is accuracy. And it worried me a little bit when Troy Aikman got interviewed by the NFL Network during the draft. And he goes, in my 35 years of being in football, he was like, you can teach a lot of things. When you got quarterbacks that aren't accurate, that's the hardest thing to teach. And I was like, oh shit. And he said, I hope I'm wrong, but he's going to be bucking the norm if Josh Allen can improve his accuracy. But the guy's got a cannon. He can go deep and he can throw in the cold weather. So see what happens. But Josh Rosen was the funny one to me, because he gets picked and he got like cocky, like, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. I'm pissed off. I dropped this low. He's an interesting guy. Like, we're going to see what happens when he goes into that locker room. He's going to have to humble it down a little bit. And then the Josh Allen thing was interesting because somebody pulled tweets that he tweeted from like 2012 when he was still in high school. He was throwing around the M word on Twitter a lot. And I always say this, I think the Bills might have released them tweets. Because I was like, whoever wanted to draft him wanted to release them tweets to make sure he dropped a little bit. And I don't think it's going to be a big deal in the locker room. I think he grew up, probably went to, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he went to a predominantly white high school. I mean, small town in California, Northern California. And I think he was just one of those white guys that was quoting rap lyrics, and him and his white friends probably call each other the N-word without thinking of the consequences. And so I don't think it's a big deal. He'll go to the locker room. Guys will like him. He'll lay low this year. And then if he starts next year, it's all forgotten after he throws his first touchdown pass. Honestly, everybody's handled it pretty well so far. Nobody thinks he's a racist. He said, I apologize. I was dumb. I was young. I put out a tweet 8 years ago, 2010, where I said, I saw a black girl with a flat butt. And I was like, what's the point? And people got mad at me like, oh, how could you say, is that all we are, is sexual objects to you? And I was like, nah, it was a joke, but maybe it was a joke in a little bad taste, but it was freaking 8 years ago. And then somebody pulled it, and all of a sudden people start retweeting it again. And I was like, where were you guys at when the tweet came out? And I forgot I even tweeted it. But Josh Allen, same thing. 2012, 2013, he sends these tweets out where he's talking about the M word. And then he said, it ain't white it ain't right if it ain't white, or something like that. But he said he was kidding with a friend of his, going back and forth. And he never said it got taken out of context. He just goes, I was stupid. I didn't think about that. But he wasn't saying the M word in an argument with somebody, and then he went at him and said the M word. That's different. He was just saying like a rap lyric, and a young teenage kid, they're not really thinking of what the word really means to some people. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal when it's all said and done. Like I said, he comes in and balls out, they'll all be forgotten. I mean, look at Joe Mixon last year. The Bengals picked him, and everybody made a big deal about him hitting that girl when he was 17 years old in Oklahoma. And by the end of the year, everybody forgot about that. He started to come on. He balled out a little bit. I mean, I was at some of the games. Those crowds were rooting for him. There was no big protest going on, and it didn't cost the Bengals a fan base or ticket sales. Nothing like that. Now, two of the coolest things that happened in the draft, one was when Ryan Shazier walked out on the stage to announce the Steelers draft pick. And seeing him walk was one thing, but, he's talking about he wants to play again. And I'm like, he's definitely a long way from playing again. I'm glad to see him walking. And it really hasn't been that long. It's only been 6 months since the injury, 5 months since the injury. So he's already leaps and bounds above what people thought. And it's almost, and you don't want to say a good thing, But I was thinking, if I suffer an injury like that, I'm over 40. It's going to be really hard for me to recover. Thank God that guy's in his mid 20s and you can recover a lot faster than people could otherwise. So, it was good to see him walk again and hopefully the recovery will still go on. But man, I was like, I just saw it. I was like, man, he's a long way from even playing again. He's talking about playing again in 2019, but it was cool to see him walk on the stage. But outside of that, the coolest thing in the draft was when Shaquem Griffin got drafted by the Seahawks. And then now he's going to play with his brother in Seattle. Well, I mean, he's got to make the team. That's the thing. People are like, when you a 5th round pick, a lot of those guys are practice squad players. But it's still a good accomplishment. But to see him wait the 2 days and then he finally gets picked and you can't write a better story because I'm sure you guys have heard the story, but there's these 2 brothers, the Griffin brothers. They played in Central Florida. Shaquem had a hand amputated when he was 4 years old, and he plays with one arm basically. And his brother got offers to Florida, Miami of Florida, all these big colleges, and he told everybody, no, I'm only going to go play college ball with my brother. And Central Florida offered them both scholarships. And so he sacrificed a lot in himself because we keep talking about Shaquem, but we don't talk about his brother who said, no, we played together all growing up. We lived together. We was in the same room, and I'm not going to Miami of Florida unless my brother gets to go there. And they couldn't do that. And that's not a knock on Miami of Florida. You only got so many scholarships to offer. But Central Florida could do it. And I thought that was the coolest thing when he got drafted. Now they're going to play together in Seattle. That never happens. You just grow up with somebody, you play junior high, high school, college, and now you're going to play pro ball with your brother and probably move in with them. They're going to be roommates. I mean, God dang. How do you not root for those guys? How do you not root for those 2? And they weren't the only set of brothers that got drafted. The Edmonds brothers. One was one got drafted by the Bills, and the other one got drafted by the Steelers. Terrell Edmonds and Tremaine Evans. Why everybody got all these brothers? Here's what I noticed. Black guys that are football players, everybody got similar first names. It's like Shaquem and Shacome. These other brothers, I want to make sure I pronounce it. Terrell Edmonds got drafted by the Steelers 28th. He's a safety from Virginia Tech. And his brother is Tremaine, linebacker from Virginia Tech, by the Bills. So Tremaine and Tremel. Really? No, Terrell and Tremaine. Tremaine and Terrell. And then, I'm like, but they both got drafted in the 1st round. And that would have been big news if it wasn't for the Griffin brothers. But I was like, it just makes you wonder, man. You never know what you're going to get when you have kids, man. Can you imagine being parents and both your kids go to NFL? Both. And I'm like, because I always say, man, same mom, same dad. You can have an astronaut and a fry cook. You don't know what you're getting. I was talking to somebody and they was like, they got 11 brothers and sisters. They got 12 kids in the family. And I was like, man, I just said, which one's fucked up? I said, there's no way all 12 kids are just making it and uber successful. And the dude was like, yeah, I got a brother. That's all he said. Yeah, I got a brother. I said, that's still good. 11 out of 12 are doing okay. All right. Well, I think that's enough on the draft. I'm excited. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid already. 16-0, calling it 16-0. Other things going on right now is the NBA playoffs. And, I know I did my NBA picks. I was wrong with New Orleans and Portland because I went with the higher seed, but so far I'm pretty accurate. The funnest series was Indiana and Cleveland of the 1st round. But let's be honest. Did anybody really think Cleveland was going to lose that series at any point? When they were down 1-0, I didn't think it. When it got 3-3 and they got blown out in game 6, I didn't think it. I was like, LeBron is about to ball out. And man, it's funny, man. When he went on the court for that game 7, I was like, Cleveland is the 2nd pick in the lottery with that roster. I was like, that guy's just so freaking good. LeBron. Jordan 1, LeBron 2. I hate people try to argue, Kobe or, Magic. Yeah, man, unbelievable players. But what LeBron does, Nobody does. I mean, think about the guys that came in his draft with him. Chris Bosh, no longer in the league. Dwayne, talking about retiring. Carmelo, definitely has lost a step. Darko, he's out of the league. I'm like, LeBron, he ain't even slowing down. He's still playing. He could have played all 48 minutes if he wouldn't have cramped up a little bit. I'm dumbfounded how great he is. He's just a physical freak of nature. I mean, he's in his mid-30s. But it really, when he plays all those minutes and things of that nature, and people's like, how's he doing it? How's he doing it? It reminds me of what Jason Kidd said when he was 40 years old and the Dallas Mavericks went to the NBA Finals and they beat the Heat. And they asked him, they go, how are you still playing at a pretty high level at 40 years old? And he was like, listen, it's not the games that make you old. It's what you do in between the games that make you old. It ain't the 48 minutes of basketball. It's what you do on them road trips. And that's what ages you. So it's safe to say Tristan Thompson is not going to have a long career. We've seen what he does in between games. He's going out getting it in. But I'm sure LeBron has a specific meal plan. A chef probably travels with him on the road, or they know exactly what to put in his body. He's got a nutritionist. I know his trainer, best trainer in the game, David Alexander down in Miami. So you wonder when he's going to start losing a step, because it ain't happening yet. It definitely ain't happening. Like Dwayne, you see it. He's lost a step. Carmelo, you definitely see it. He lost a step. But LeBron, I'm like, dude, talk about a freak of nature. And I've been saying LeBron MVP. We give it to other people, but MVP should be LeBron every year. But man, a close second is James Harden. I mean, Utah was in his face, like hand up, and he does that Euro step and that step back three. It's so smooth, it's frustrating. It's just whack at. Here's what is mind-boggling to me. 2012, Oklahoma City plays the Heat in the NBA Finals. Oklahoma City's got Russell Westbrook, who ends up winning MVP. Kevin Durant ends up winning MVP. James Harden is going to win the MVP this year. So you had 3 NBA MVP on your team, and you let 2 of them go. Like, nothing. And I'm like, that's mind-boggling. What that says is you definitely got a good scouting department, because you're drafting the right guys, but you just can't keep them. And they had Oladipo, and he balls out in Indiana. I'm like, I don't know if that's an indictment on Oklahoma City, or is an indictment on Russell Westbrook, that when people leave, they become better players when he's not around. I like watching Westbrook play, but I don't think he makes any of the teammates better around him. And I think it's very clear, and Durant will never say it. I mean, he left because of Westbrook. He was probably just frustrated because he wanted the ball, and Westbrook shoots a lot. And that can get frustrating, man. I mean, I used to get frustrated at the YMCA when you got somebody gunning. And you're like, dude, yeah. You ever, and I think most guys know this would listen to the podcast. There's comes a point in your life where you play basketball a lot, either at the YMCA or on a military base or at a Lifetime Fitness, a 24-hour fitness. And it seems like at some point, guys that play pickup ball, you get in a routine where there's about a year or two of your life where you're always going on Thursdays and Tuesdays at 6 p.m. or you're going at lunch certain times. And then you start to get to know the same group of guys that play basketball. You know who's going to be there on certain days. And you know when some guy shows up, you're like, I can't stand this motherfucker, man. You don't want to be on his team. You know he's not going to pass. You got those guys that complain over every shot. And you're like, dude, we're at the Y. Bring it down a little bit. It's not that serious. I'm not going to get in a fight over Y. I'm not diving for a loose ball at the Y. A dude might drive by me. I might let him go at the Y. Stop trying to act like we getting paid and they're scouts. So I think that's why it's clear. That's why Durant left. He was like, yo, this dude is, you can't say it, you can't do it, but it's so frustrating to play with a guy like that. Who doesn't want to play with LeBron at some point? Because you're like, he's going to get you the ball if you're open. Of course, he's the number one option, but he makes everybody better around him. And like Jordan made so many millionaires, multi-millionaires, and guys got big contracts just because they were on the Bulls, and then didn't do shit when they left the Bulls. But then you got guys like Kukoc and Pippen, like those guys were still great players without Jordan. Steve Kerr played the same role in San Antonio that he did in Chicago. So he just knew his role. But most of those guys, you're like, dude, they wouldn't have been shit without Jordan. And the same way with LeBron. And he just makes everybody better around him, man. You gonna tell me Dellavedova from Milwaukee would have got a deal if he wasn't on that Cavaliers team with LeBron? Come on now. Give me a break. He needs to send LeBron 10%. Fuck your agent. Send LeBron 10%. I mean, basically, Richard Jefferson didn't want to play basketball anymore. He was ready to check out. He said, no, I'll still play with LeBron because you're not going to be the number 1 or 2 option. The ball, you're going to get open looks. And LeBron just wants you to play D and play hard. That's all Jefferson did anyways. J.R. Smith I don't think he'd be in the league right now if it wasn't for LeBron. I mean, LeBron gave him a complete second win. He's in Denver. He's with the Knicks. He was like somewhat of a head case. He had the rep. He goes to Cleveland. No issues. No problem. He's winning. He gets a big deal from Cleveland. Winning solves a lot of things. It solves a lot of things. It's very much if you're in a bad relationship with a girl, listen, if she's still sucking dick, you're good. It'll save that relationship. Because you gotta realize, like J.R. Smith was in Denver, New York, and he wasn't winning. And he's like, God damn, I'm playing ball. He goes to Cleveland. They start winning. He's hitting threes. LeBron likes him. He gets along with LeBron. Their personalities match. He's like, yo. So it's just amazing how winning changes everything, and playing with somebody that's unselfish, that is an alpha male, deserves the ball first, and is going to take good shots. LeBron ain't really forcing a lot. I mean, he gets knocked because he doesn't force a lot of shots. Like they should be, that's the thing about, there's a fine line between being LeBron, who they think, oh, he doesn't hit the big shot. Prove that wrong in this series. That game 5 shot was unbelievable. And it was the same shot Jordan hit against Cleveland 30 years earlier. But then you got guys like Westbrook who shoots too much. It's like, so when's the fine line? You got to find a nice mix. And that's why I think Houston is in a good place, man. Because you got Harden and Paul. Paul is a pure point guard. Harden can handle the ball, but he just wants to shoot. He's a shooter. And I go, it meshes perfect. I didn't think Houston had a shot, honestly, against Golden State. But when Harden's on, that is honestly, his 3-point shot is the most unstoppable shot in basketball right now. You got a hand in his face. It don't matter. He has mastered that shit. And I didn't appreciate it until I start watching these playoffs, because I just didn't watch Houston a lot this season. I'm damn near in awe of when he steps back and hits that 3, because some guys shoot and you're shocked when they make it. You're shocked when he misses. You're like, dude, this guy. But going back to the Cleveland-Indiana series, 2 things I took out of that for Indiana. One, Oladipo's here to stay. And I don't know if anybody saw, but he texted his trainer, David, 20 minutes after the game was over and said, when do we get back to work? I'm ready to take it to the next level. And so David posted his text on Instagram because I can't make this shit up. This guy's 20 minutes after the game. He's in the locker room before he showers, already texting his trainer, when do we get going? And I texted David when I saw that, and I said, hey, when do we get going? I'm ready to take it to the next level in the men's over 40 rec league. Let's go. Let's get it. But just Oladipo's mentality, well, I'm going to build around him. And who didn't get enough credit, and granted, he's my friend and I'm biased, so I watched a lot of him, was Thaddeus Young. Thaddeus Young was playing some of the best D in the playoffs that wasn't getting talked about, because all everybody was talking about was how Kevin Love wasn't playing well. You want to know why? Motherfuckers having nightmares about Thaddeus Young. Thaddeus Young guarded Kevin Love that whole series, D'd him up, and nobody was talking about it. Like, Kevin Love could not get an open look with the ball. That's why his shooting percentage was down. That's why he didn't have a great series. Hell, Thad was doing a decent job against LeBron. I mean, granted, LeBron's going to get a lot of the calls. And I hate it when people be like, oh, here we go again. It's rigged. It's rigged. No, it's not. Listen, if you're Jordan, if you're Durant, if you're Steph Curry, if you're Harden, LeBron, you're going to get those calls. They respect you. It just is what it is. If you don't like it, get better people on your team that's going to get the calls. I used to get frustrated watching the Bulls because they're like, damn, Jordan gets all the calls. That ain't going to change. Star players are going to get the calls. It's just, that is what it is. So Stop bitching about that. That's not going anywhere anytime soon. But Thaddeus, man. And I was, because I follow him on the court because he's a friend of mine, but I was just like, that dude is D'ing up Kevin Love. And even he got LeBron's ass a few times. And every now and then Thaddeus will flash his athletic ability, and you're like, I didn't see that coming. He did one move, game 5. He did a crossover and went and came and dunked it. And I was like, what the hell? Where's that been? Fuck was that? Because that guy, they don't run no offensive plays for him. He's a walking double-double his whole career with no offensive plays run for him. All his points are garbage points, putbacks, or somebody had to, he wasn't the first option. He was the second, third option. But the guy's a walking double-double, man. If I'm Indiana, those two are my priority, is Oladipo and Thaddeus Young. I was like, we're going to build around that. And another thing that's crazy is how all these guys last season switched teams, and the teams they left are better off with them not there. I mean, Indiana had a really great run with Paul George here for a minute. But if you go off last year, Oklahoma City got rid of Oladipo and Sabonis, and that's what they got for George. And looking at it, Indiana got the better deal. Those two combined was more valuable to this team and the way it plays than Paul George was last year to the team. So then Paul George is the star player, goes to Oklahoma City. I don't think they're as good. Gordon Hayward leaves Utah, goes to Boston. Now, granted, he got hurt, so that's it's tempered. But Utah, I would say, is better than they were last year when they were in the playoffs. And that Donovan Mitchell, that dude's a real deal too. I don't even know how you can pick Rookie of the Year. I don't think Ben Simmons deserves it because I think he's 2 years in the league. But watching Ben Simmons play and then watching Donovan play, I'm like, man, the NBA is looking good for the next couple of years. Mitchell does some moves sometimes. I'm like, where'd that come from? And he wants the ball and he's a dog. He don't want to come out of the game. I just like watching him play. He's making me a Utah fan. I haven't really been a Utah fan since Malone and Stockton left. And Brian Russell and Chris Morris and Jeff Hornacek. Like, I used to love watching Utah play back in the day. But they're going to make me want to watch him again. So he leaves, and they're better. There's one more. There was Gordon Hayward left. Paul George left. And you could say the Knicks were probably, even though they were still terrible, they were a little better this year without Carmelo than they were last year with Carmelo. It's just crazy how these star players leave, and then the team becomes a little better, without them. The only team that, honestly, you can say the same thing for Boston. They lose Isaiah Thomas, Channing Crowder, and God dang, man. I mean, last year they were really good, but God, if Kyrie and Gordon Hayward would have stayed healthy, Boston's going to be tough in a couple of years because those guys getting hurt, it made Jason Tatum step up. It made Brown step up. They got a nice squad, man. Boston's going to be scary. And I think outside of Popovich, I think they got the best coach in the NBA. Brad Stevens, that guy's unbelievable. To come from Butler and then go to Boston like he is. And I don't know if you guys remember back in 2001, Iverson sat out game 6 against Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals. And he almost was just like, dude, I got to sit this out because I could have pushed it, but I'm going to save myself for game 7 so we can get to the NBA Finals. And it worked out. I remember that game. He just sat out. I can't remember what his injury was, but it wasn't like he there was no way he could play. If it would have been game 7 of the NBA Finals, Iverson would have played. But he sat out game 6 basically to get ready for game 7. But Iverson was a partier too, so he could have been hungover. I saw Allen Iverson one night. I was in Orlando, and he came in, and he was drinking Coronas. It was a little nightclub I went to, and he was there, and he drank a lot of Coronas. And they had a day game against the Magic the next day on Sunday, middle of the day. And son of a bitch, he went for like 40. I was like, dude, I literally saw him leave a nightclub at 2, 3 in the morning, and the game was like at 1, and he went for 40 the next day. That's a freak of nature right there. He was drinking Coronas. I was like, good Lord. That'd be like 2000 or 2001, right in his prime of his career. I was in awe. I was like, there's no way. I said, he ain't playing tomorrow. And then when I saw it was a day game, I go, oh, he's going to suck tomorrow. Dude, balled out, middle of the day. There was probably liquor coming out of his sweat, right? On the court. Who does that? I would have been struggling at the Y. I would have been struggling at the Y if I would have done that. I would have, the guy, I'll play tomorrow. I can't make it. This guy balls out. Unbelievable. What all this basketball and football talk leads me to my crazy stepdad story. Because I always said my stepdad is what I always call him like a functional bigot. Like he's not a bigot, he's not a racist, but he definitely roots for white guys a little harder than most people. And I remember when Wally Serbiak was at Miami of Ohio, my stepdad never talked about basketball, never talked about Miami of Ohio, Ohio State, nothing. And all of a sudden Wally gets to Miami and he's all in on Serbiak. And he's like, this is the next guy, man. This is the next one. And I was just thinking, I wonder if it's because he's white. Because I don't remember you going crazy for Ron Harper. I think he was a better player in the pros and in college than Wally Serbiak. I don't remember you going nuts for Ron Harper. And Ron Harper had the same height at Miami of Ohio that Wally Serbiak did. My stepdad was also the one that hates rap but liked Eminem. Wonder why. Is there something that Wally Serbiak and Eminem have in common? Let me see. I just remember him being like, yeah, he's on his way, man. The guy's really going to make it.
You funny than Michael Blackson?
Man, he's one strict pony. You know, mother sucker. After that, what you got? Tell me your favorite Michael Blackson joke. Rest my case. Boom. What's your favorite Michael Blackson joke of all time? Your favorite one besides mother sucker. He ain't got one.
I like when he did the For the Pussy Challenge with Erykah Badu on Instagram.
That's not a joke. That's a sketch.
That was
all right?
Okay, it only took 4 days, but I finally got all those Tekashi 6ix9ine tattoos off my face, but now I got a big-ass zit right there. But anyways, this goes out to Michael Blackson. I heard you took my interview personal. You made a little video on your page, but then you didn't tag me, little bitch. What, you didn't want me to see it? Well, I saw it. Stop being so fucking sensitive. We goddamn comics. That's what we do. We talk about everybody. But if somebody talks about you, oh, that's too far. Fuck you. Built like a Kit Kat motherfucker. Looking like a extra in Hotel Rwanda. All them African films, and you're not in any of them. Blood Diamond, Amistad, Hotel Rwanda. Hey, you from Africa. Come on, man. Take some acting lessons. Learn how to act, bitch. Hey, see you next time we're on the road. You're gonna open for me again. Forever my opener, Michael Blackson. Little bitch, mother suckle.
Fuck you, Gary Owen, you nigga cracker honky bitch, and whoever dick you are writing, talking about it's been hundreds of African movies and I'm not in none of them. When it's been thousands of white movies and I've never seen none of them. In fact, you've been in 2 black movies. Both of them, you play the same type of nigga. The white guy that had a black friend or a black guy that had a white friend. In fact, that's your name in the movie credit. A white guy with black friend. White people don't even fuck with you. In fact, white people have disowned you just like black people have disowned O.J. Simpson. Then you got the nerve to say I look like a Kit Kat. Well, Kit Kat stay the same color. You on the other hand, you're pale one day. When you're upset, you're pink. When you get a 10, you're red. And when you punch him in the face, you're blue. You miss it, Philly. You don't know having eyes, bitch. Talk about open up. I've never opened up for you. That's another black man. So you trying to say all niggas look alike? You just want me to roast you so you can be black. You want to be black so bad, don't you? Well, fuck you, nigga. Now say it back. I didn't think so, you wet dog smelling bitch. Fuck you. I'll be back, bitch.
Michael Blackson, I saw your little weak comeback where you said I smell like a wet dog. Well, my dog's wet. Smells amazing. Yeah, I kissed her. White guy stuff right there. Also, I heard you said I won't say the N-word back to you. You dared me. I ain't gotta say it back. My lady will say it for me. I got a down-ass chick. Michael Blackson, you punk ass.
Nigga.
Ho. Michael Blackson, you bitch ass.
Nigga.
God, I wish I could say it. Now maybe some dinner, baby.
Who are you talking to? Who talking like that?
No, I want to eat. I'm gangster mode. Dinner.
It's not about you. It's about that black nigga. Okay? It wasn't about you. Let the damn dog go.
Gangster mode. But don't take the dog. You took the dog. But it's gangster. Your turn, Mike.
I don't touch wives, but she helped you call me a nigga. So I'm gonna tell you exactly why she's with you. She's waiting for your 800 FICO score. In about 2 weeks, her brothers are going to rob you. And when your comedy money runs out, she's going to leave you and your baby pink dick for a big mutombo and get a bladder infection. Fuck you, you colonizer. You hunky nigger, cracker, bitch nigger.